Hello and welcome back to Joe's No Sports Shows. Whole new year of shows we have coming for you guys. Last year was our first year. Wasn't the greatest quality, we can admit it, but it was still entertaining. This year, we're going to get great quality and great entertainment in our videos. And of course, we have to start it off with one of the most popular sports, Joe's Knows Football, episode 1 here. And we're going to do this one a bit differently. Last year, after every episode, we would predict every game and we would just go by records and it was hard to count. This year, we're going to keep it way more easier to remember the point system, and that's just way easier than the records. So this is the point system for this year. 50 points for team's placement in division correctly, which we will be predicting in this episode. 100 extra points if you get the full division correctly. 100 points for correct award prediction, which will be an episode coming up right before the NFL season with a very special guest. 5 points for every game correctly picked during the season. And during those weeks, if you get 25 extra points for getting 10 plus games correct in a week. So that's basically it for the point system this year. It's going to be very different, but way better in my opinion. Of course, I'm Jack Helmer here with Giacomo Imperiale, Brian Burke, and Will Kwiatkowski, all here from last year. Actually, Jock's first NFL show wasn't on it last year, but going to be a recurring guest this year. We're going to start off with doing the NFC Division Predictions. We're going to start off with the NFC East, and we're going to go straight to Giacomo Imperiale.
How's it going, guys? I know I'm a little different here. You've seen me on a bunch of other shows, but this is my first time here. Big Giants fan, baby. Go blue. So I'm going to run you through what I think about the NFC East this year. Obviously, my bias can't take too much. Can't come in too much here. Eagles got to be at first. I'm going to have the New York Giants at second place in the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys in third, and the Washington Commanders at fourth. So here's why. I think everyone's shaking their heads. Why does this kid have the Giants at second? I'll tell you why, and it's Darren Waller. Will made a nice joke about him before. He's a top 5 tight end in the league. A much needed weapon for Daniel Jones to have this offense. Daniel Jones took a huge step forward last year. You ask anyone, I'm not a Daniel Jones fan, but he looked a lot better last year for sure. Healthy Saquon, and especially with a revamped wide receiver core, I get Paris Campbell isn't the greatest option, but you have Darren Waller to be that number one option. And the Giants' biggest hole on defense is filled too. Isaiah Simmons, that trade, Bobby Okereke coming in. Really good additions all around. And I really think that week 1, Sunday night, I'll be there, Giants-Cowboys. Giants are going to beat them, set the tone for the whole season.
Burke?
Yeah, I'm going to say, first off, the Eagles. They're just the most well-rounded team in the NFL right now, and they could be going back-to-back NFC champions. Second, I got the Cowboys. Third, I got the Giants. And last, I got the Commanders. I do not agree with you, Guac. Giants at second, but I want to go in depth for the Cowboys. They just added Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 1 for the Texans. Got him. I don't think he's going to be wide receiver 1 in Dallas, but he'll be a good option for Dak Prescott. And in addition with CD Lamb, always been a good target. Dalton Schultz is not there anymore, unfortunately. But and also Zeke is not there, unfortunately. But they got Tony Pollard. He averaged more yards than Zeke when he was there, but Zeke got more touchdowns, but he also got more touches. And Pollard is going to eat all those touches and get more touchdowns. Micah Parsons in that solid defense. Can't go wrong with a solid defense. And, I think they're a really well-rounded team. And, what's up?
Well, I was waiting for my turn. You finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
All right, can we throw the spicy guac take banner up? Let's get started.
Oh, my God. It's the first one of the season. It's the first one of the season.
By week 12, Trey Lance will replace Dak Prescott. I'm telling you, Dak Prescott, most disappointing season this year. He's going to have double-digit picks by week 12. Terrible year. His ball security is absolutely terrible. We've seen it in years past. He is very not confident with the ball in his hands. Trey Lance is going to be QB1 by week 12 for the Cowboys.
Trey Lance was a third-string quarterback before he came to Dallas, bro.
He's still better than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is not a good quarterback.
Burke, I just give up. You're really not working with much.
I guess it's the first one of the season.
First one. It's a way to start off, but I guess I'll take it from there and do my division predictions. And I'm going to start off the Eagles. I'm going to talk a little bit about them. I'm not going to go on too long, but It's obvious. Actually, it's not obvious. The Cowboys are going to be a close second, but Hurts is just too good, and I mean he's just going to keep getting better. The one concern is that the Eagles lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators. Shane Steichen now leading the Colts, but those are two huge pieces to that team, and that's lost. But the new running back core is what I really really like. Not too many changes on defense, just getting stronger at positions that they have. But the real big difference is this new two running backs that they bring with Rashawn Penny and DeAndre Swift, the ability to kind of ground and pound with Penny, and then to be able to step out, have a more elusive receiving back like Swift. It opens up the opportunities, kind of like what the 49ers will be able to do with Mitchell and McCaffrey, just having more options, having to show the defense more, or the defense having to show the offense more sets with more linebackers, fill in the box. Hurts is going to be able to step out and throw a little bit more. He might get more time. There's what the Eagles did this offseason, was kind of incredible again. I think they're just going to keep on leading. I don't see them not being in first here. And then I'll follow it up. Cowboys, sorry, the Giants third. I mean, I was going to overreact to Jock, but I mean, I just think it's a little Giants delusion. I mean, he's talking about Bobby Okereke and Paris Campbell, who are two ex-Colt bums. I mean, these guys are bums on the Colts, and the Colts are bums. So it's just Giants media hyping up wash players that they signed for too much money. I mean, you're gonna go down the dump. This is the last season the Giants are half decent. Commanders at 4.
So we're not going to talk about how the Giants got Isaiah Simmons for a 7th-round pick and the fact that you're a Colts fan. Half of your team is bums. You guys don't have a 4th wide receiver listed on your team.
All right. The one thing about NFL trades that you don't understand is when a guy gets traded for a 7th-round pick, it's not because they just found a dime in the rough. It's because he's a bum. And that's just kind of how it is. Isaiah Simmons
is on one of the worst systems in the league.
Isaiah Simmons
terrible.
Isaiah Simmons does 3 things wrong: safety, corner, and then linebacker. He plays all 3 positions and can't do it right at any one. He's going to be look, if the Giants can figure him out, sure, they might have won a trade. It's a risk worth taking, but is he going to bolster this defense? No, neither is Bobby Okereke.
I never said they had to. They have guys to bolster the defense. I'm saying that Isaiah Simmons fits very well into Wink Martindale's scheme of Wink Martindale likes to switch guys up. He likes to switch the placement of the guys. That's what he does. It keeps offenses off balance. So I'm saying Isaiah Simmons is a perfect fit. And for a 7th-round pick, that's an absolute steal. It's a much-needed help that the Giants need, and it works perfectly.
All right. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'm going to match up my division predictions with Burke and Will. I'm going to start off with the Eagles. I really like that DeAndre Swift addition to the run game. Miles Sanders, honestly, in my opinion, not one of the greatest running backs in the league. Always got carried by that O-line. Then the Cowboys, very solid. Like Burke said, adding Brandon Cooks is always going to help. To that receiver room, I still think Dak Prescott's going to stay the quarterback the whole year. And then I have the Giants. I do very like that Daniel Jones, Darren Waller connection. It looks very good in preseason. Hopefully, it translates over to the regular season. And then I got the Commanders in 4th place. I do want to talk about them a little bit. I mean, I still think Sam Howell had a very good training camp and preseason. From everything coming from the camp, he sounded that he was very good. More of a calm QB, which we haven't really seen in that Commanders offense yet. Jacoby Brissett backing him up could always come in if Howell gets hurt or has poor play to start off. And it's just very high vibes coming from that Commanders preseason camp. I mean, Dan Snyder recently selling the team, and tickets are selling out very quickly. Nobody really likes him. So I really like the Commanders team. A lot of good weapons. Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. I'm expecting a huge year out of, huge step forward from Penn State. And we got Jock going to ask a question.
No, I just wanted to add, I'm very high on this Commanders team. I think that they could be the best fourth place team in the league. I mean, obviously, Sam Howell is the only unexpected player, but a 3-headed monster of wide receiver core. I think it is a very, very good wide receiver core. I won't call it a monster. I know Will give me a face there, but it's still a pretty good wide receiver core. And then Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson is a pretty good backfield with a decent defense. I think people forget how good Chase Young is in this division. Chase Young he terrorizes the Giants, at least. I'm scared of that man. Very scared. So, I mean, go ahead.
A lot of question marks with Chase Young as well with the contract extension. Is he going to play or is he going to hold out? Is he going to play? It's a lot of questions there, but I think we're going to move on to the NFC West here. A very exciting division last year with the Seahawks coming out of nowhere. It looks like a two-headed monster again this year. Jock, if you want to start it off.
Yeah, I mean, the Geno Smith emergence really was quite the story. But in the division, I'm gonna lead it off. The Niners, I think, are the clear front runner to win the division, followed up by the Seahawks, then the Rams, and the Cardinals, the worst team in the league. I want to talk about this Niners team a little bit. I mean, very possibly they could be the best team in the league, but I think they're top 3, most definitely. I mean, we saw the multiple quarterback changes that they went through last year, and they still finished as one of the best teams in the league. Brock Purdy looked more than capable throughout the postseason. CMC is bad. I mean, ever since he's left Carolina, he's just picked up right where he left off in a bigger role. I mean, Brock Purdy has every advantage to throw to. He's Deebo Samuel. He's Brandon Ayuk. He has CMC. He has George Kittle. He's anyone he can throw to. On top of an absolutely stacked defense led by Nick Bosa. I mean, it's just one of the more, I'd say behind the Eagles, one of the most well-rounded teams in the league. And especially in this division, the Seahawks could give them a run for their money, but I don't think that they can even match up very well with the Niners. So I really think that they're the clear path runner to win this division.
Big question, though, is who's going to be under center in the 49er system? Sam Darnold, he's been around the league a lot, but I don't think he's going to be cut out for the 49ers. Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Wait, I'm confused. Brock Purdy's the starter.
Oh, no, I thought he was the second string.
No, Brock Purdy's going to start for the 49ers.
Brock Purdy's starting? Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And that's how it should be. He looked spectacular in the postseason coming in as Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, he looked better than Darnold and Trey Lance ever have in a Niners uniform. They literally found their franchise quarterback in the 7th round or in the last round of the NFL draft, which is very, very hard to do.
You good to go,
bro. So I agree with you with 49ers. I feel like they'll be number 1. I got the Seahawks right behind the Rams, and then finally the Cardinals. You see me repping the Seahawks jersey already. I want to go right to Geno Smith. 83-point completion percentage. That's probably the best in the league. We got a solid running back core with Kenny Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Pretty much the best wide receiver core in the NFL. We added Jackson Smith and Njigba. We have DK Metcalf and a vet, Tyler Lockett. We have Noah Fant as our tight end. So probably one of the best secondaries in the league. Added Devin Witherspoon. We have Tyreek Woolen. Should have been Rookie of the Year, personally. But, we also added Draymond Jones at free agency. I see you guys shaking your head, but I'll take that.
I want to go here real quick. My biggest concern with the Seattle Seahawks is, do we really believe Geno Smith can do it again? I mean, like, it did impress me. He really did come out of nowhere last year, but my biggest concern with the Seattle team is that can Geno be that quarterback again? I think he can be for another year, especially with the addition of JSN, but to me, that's the only question mark in the Seattle team is if Geno can really be that good of a quarterback again.
I really do believe he can be because he's really well-rounded with this offense. And especially we just saw he has like an 83.3% completion percentage. So I feel like he can be that dog and could possibly win the NFC West. And that's my take.
You go, Will.
All right. I'm gonna back it up. I got Seahawks winning the division. And it's not purely just because the Seahawks are gonna win 13 games. I don't like anything that's going on at San Francisco with their quarterback. Brock Purdy tore his UCL. I mean, how many quarterbacks? Name how many quarterbacks ever torn their ACL, and then on top of that came back. I mean, this guy's a 7th round pull him out of a hat magic man. Tears his UCL. I mean, the story's over. I'm sorry, the story's over. He's not he really wasn't uber talented. He kind of just slid into the offense as every other weird short ball, but he could kind of throw a deep ball passer has done. When he doesn't pan out, Sam Darnold's a bum. Sam Darnold's a deep ball passer, and it's been that forever. Him and Robbie Anderson on the Jets, that's all they did was they just hauled it downfield. I mean, he's never been anything but let me just extend the field. I mean, sure, I don't see him fitting the system. I don't know. And then alongside, I believe that the 49ers are aging. I mean, this guy's getting old. Debo is probably like 28, 29. I mean, he had a down season. He's probably going to get hurt for 7 games. McCaffrey is totally fine. I think McCaffrey's going to be like doing his thing. But, I mean, the Seahawks, Burke said it, they added Witherspoon and a couple other guys. That offense is scary. So I that's how I have it. And then Rams and Cardinals. Cardinals, I mean, I don't think they're 0-17 at all. I think they might win 3 games. But this is a sad offense. I mean, I at this point I kind of want to see Clayton Tune start, just because I thought he was going to be good during the draft. I don't know why, but it's a sorry team. I don't have much to say about them.
Well,
Yeah. So
can we revisit this atrocity of the Seahawks finishing above the 49ers? I mean, Brock Purdy, all he has to do is throw 5-yard slant routes and hand the ball off to CMC. His job couldn't get any easier. You're acting like Brock Purdy's terrible. He doesn't even have to be great. He just has to be decent. Like, he's in one of the best systems in the league. His job couldn't be easier coming into this year. He has multiple weapons. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL and a spectacular defense. Like, I don't understand it. And the Niners, I mean, they're just going to keep putting up points. It's what they did last year with Brock Purdy. They just put up points against you. And, like, again, I think that Seahawks-Niners is a very good matchup, but, like, the Niners just flat out have the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that you might say they have a better team, and they probably do, on paper. But I mean, the Niners have come out slow basically the past 2-3 years. I mean, they haven't come out start. They blew to the Bears in week 1. I don't like what they're gonna do. I think the Seahawks team is motivated. I think the Seahawks are gonna just surprise everybody with how good they are.
All right, yeah, so I'm going to do my NFC West predictions. I do have the Niners in first, even if Brock Purdy isn't who Will says he is. I still think Sam Darnold in that backup position is very good. And Kyle Shanahan is such a good coach that he can cadence that offense towards them. I do have the Seahawks in second. I do really like the receiver room, but right now the Jigabos really find some injuries, and Tyler Lockett is always aging. And then I have number 3, Los Angeles Rams, who this team 2 years ago won the Super Bowl, but now totally rebuilding this team. This team is actually very young now. A lot of people did not realize how they kind of flipped their roster. Still also added a lot of draft picks. And look, I mean, that Stafford Cup connection is always going to be there. So that's going to win them at least 5 to 6 games. But I don't see them blowing up for at least 7 or 8 wins this season. And then in that 4th spot, I, of course, have the Cardinals. I mean, you don't even know if Kyler Murray is starting this season. And just that team right now is just an abyss, looking for that 1st and 2nd overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. Now we're moving on to the NFC South, which is definitely not one of the most exciting divisions. But Giacomo, you can start it off.
Yeah, most definitely not. This division is really up for grabs. At least the way I see it is I see that there's a clear front runner in the division, and that's the New Orleans Saints. And behind them, I have the other 3 teams in the order of the Falcons, Bucks, and Panthers. The Panthers in 4th because obviously just that O-line is terrible. Like, that's the reason why they're in 4th, and it's the only reason why they're in 4th. But I want to talk about the Saints a little bit. I'm a lot higher on the Saints this year than a lot of people are. I'm a big Derek Carr believer. I think that Derek Carr and Chris Olave could be a very good duo for a couple of years, most definitely until Carr is out of the league. But I really think that this Saints team could win, I'll say 8-9 games. I think that they're going to be a solid contending team this year. And I think that in a not strong division that they are the clear front runners to win this division.
All right. I got the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, and the Buccaneers. The Falcons, I like to point out that the running back room is insane. We got Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Bijan Robinson, he can run the ball, find holes, and he can also receive. It's just, you can't get any better than that. Also, I like to point out Kyle Pitts. I mean, we haven't been seeing like his very athletic way, and he hasn't been used right. But I feel like when he gets used right, he can catch the ball, and he can go for more yards since he's very athletic. And also, I want to point out that Jesse Bates is now part of this team. Jesse Bates is a very good safety. He has been a good safety with the Bengals, and I feel like he could bring up the defense for the Falcons. So that's my take right there.
Yeah, I mean, this division should be pretty easy. I got the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks. I do want to actually go back to what Jock said. The Panthers O line really isn't that bad, and I'm not surprised that you're getting a reaction. They ranked 15th in PFF last year. They had a really rough start, and then actually, I mean, I didn't realize this until I read into it a little bit. They had some guys kind of heat up towards the end of the season, and 15th overall grade. So I mean, just kind of that on top of Bryce Young is just gonna make plays happen. Yeah, like you don't realize he's gonna make things happen. But number 4 at the Bucks. I was looking at them and they're actually just really sorry. Tristan Wirfs is one of the best right tackles in the league. They're moving him to left tackle. They have 2 rookies in the O line. They're bringing in a guy who hasn't played in a year and got cut. It's Ali Marpert is their center who is strong, but I mean the O line's kind of in shambles. The quarterback situation is a mess. The only thing keeping them afloat is Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. In this NFL that we play, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin mean nothing. So that's why they're 4th.
Yeah, so my NFC South predictions. I'm going to start off with the Panthers at 1. I just really like this roster right now. It's very young, and it's been improving a lot last year, almost winning the division. I think Bryce Young, huge candidate to win that Offensive Rookie of the Year. We saw him be a great improviser at Alabama this last year, also having not the greatest O-line, and adding this Panthers O-line is very solid. You know, that left tackle, I can't fully pronounce his name, Akeem. That's his first name. That's the furthest I'll get on that. Really anchoring down that offensive line. The receiver room, yes, it's questionable, but we've seen that Jonathan Mingo and Bryce Young have created a connection during the preseason. I mean, Adam Thielen's very old, and DJ Chark's not the greatest receiver, but still that defense has a lot of names on it. I mean, you still have J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, all very good stars on that defense. And to round out that division for me, I have the Saints coming in second, and then the Buccaneers, then the Falcons. That's how I'm looking at that.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the Carolina Panthers, right? Just so I can make sure we're talking about the same team that's winning this division. Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, Jack, that's a joke. All I'm saying is that the first time that the Carolina Panthers starting O-line came out was in a preseason game against the New York Giants. Bryce Young didn't have a second to throw the ball. I'm very serious. They are going to be a bottom 5 O-line in the league this year. And wide receiver core, a little questionable. Adam Thielen as your wide receiver 1 is not going to get it done for a rookie quarterback. And the running back room really isn't anything special either. I mean, you look at the Saints, a much more well-rounded team with a better defense. You look at even I'm a lot higher on the Bucks than a lot of people are. I don't think they're going to be last in the division. But like the Bucks, I think could be better than them very well. And yeah, I mean that whole the Panthers over Bucks thing baffles me, but I'm not worried about that. The Panthers winning the division is just a long shot, and I'll give you applause if they do it, but absolutely not. There's zero chance in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I see your concern on the offensive line. It's just that was the second team starting that game. So I guess it makes sense that they were getting into there. But I think Bryce Young still is going to have a very good year. And the running game was very good last year with Chuba Hubbard, I believe Devontae Freeman or whatever his name is.
Like
Foreman.
Devonta Foreman. It's
something like that.
Possibly
and they're adding
somewhere.
Miles Sanders, who is still a solid running back, way better than Chuba Hubbard. And their receiving game was way better last year. Now it's going to hopefully be as good. And maybe the passing game will open up with Bryce Young at QB. But now we're going to move on to the NFC North, one of the best divisions in the NFL right now. You really don't know who's going to win it, who's going to go at the bottom. So we'll start off with Giacomo.
Yeah, I have a lot of question marks in this division about all these teams. I'm not sold on any of them. But I mean, I'm gonna start it off. I'll take the division winners from last year, the Minnesota Vikings, to win the division. At 2, I'm gonna have the Detroit Lions. I'm very high on the Lions this year. I'll have the Packers at 3 because the Packers own the Bears, so I have the Bears at the bottom of the division. I want to talk about this Bears team a lot. I am not a Justin Fields fan. I never have been. I never will be. I think that this Bears team really is just flat out like meh at best. I mean, Khalil Herbert did show good strides last year. I'll give him that. But this wide receiver core just it doesn't do it for me. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Chase Claypool. I mean, ever since Claypool left Pittsburgh, he just doesn't look like the right guy for the Chicago system. DJ Moore had a decent year last year, but still, I mean, he's nothing special. And this Bears O-line scares me, and the defense scares me. I mean, I just really think that this Bears team has nothing special this year. And the Justin Fields take a leap year, like he's going to be some amazing quarterback this year, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't think that he has the capabilities to be a really good quarterback in this league.
Brian.
I got the Vikings at 1, the Lions coming up, the Packers, and then the Bears. I'm going to take the Vikings at number 1. I really like the wide receiver core and Jay Jettis. People are taking him in fantasy number 1 overall right now, knowing that he's going to get a lot of touches and touchdowns. But also they got Jordan Addison from USC, very good rookie coming out of USC. And also people are sleeping on him, but KJ Osborne was a really good wide receiver in 2022. So very good wide receiver core from the Vikings. They got Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, which people hate him, but I think he's very underrated, to be honest to me. But he also has some weapons, as TJ Hawkinson was a good pickup last year from the Lions, and he can throw to him. Also, people were scared that Dalvin Cook is out of Minnesota, and who will be next. I got Alexander Madison. He was very good backup for Vikings. Now he's the running back 1, and I'm just liking this Minnesota Vikings team with Harrison Smith and Jordan Hicks on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Vikings as much as you guys, and it's really just because of how much I like the Lions. Fifth best O-line in football. I mean, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, and Penei Sewell, like the 3 of some of the better linemen in the league. Penei Sewell just keeps getting better every single year. I think he might be one of the best tackles in the league this year. Jared Goff, super duper underrated last year. Kind of saw it coming to the season. Jack and I sort of called it out. And he put on a show with that offense. I mean, AC/DC is such a good coach. What he's done to that offense, Amon-Ra is so good. He runs free. I mean, Williams isn't going to come back for the next 6 games because of the suspension. But I really like what this offense will be when he comes back. I mean, he's a deep threat. He expands the field so much. He does it better than most wide receivers. He's got speed with like Tyreek and those guys. He's going to be a really big part. And then, the new Jahmyr Gibbs addition at running back. Same thing with kind of the Eagles. To be able to have a wide receiver threat, he almost can be he almost be running routes in the slot. He's just such an asset at running back. To have him, I just really like what this team has. Defense still scares me, but I think this offense really can carry him over. And then,
sorry.
All right. Wait, what were you going to say, Guac?
Oh, I just want to say I absolutely love it. I'm very high in the Lions as well this year. I'll take the only reason why I don't have them is because the Vikings offense is better, but obviously the Lions have the better defense. I mean, I'm just going to take the slight edge with them having the best player in the division, Justin Jefferson, but I'm very high in the Lions as well. I'm a big Jared Goff believer.
Yeah. As you said, Vikings are just money on offense as well. Defense is a little bit in shambles, but I'll take them at 2. And I'm going to Packers or the Bears. It's not that I don't like the Bears. I just actually really like what the Packers have going on the offense. Romeo Doubs he's kind of really showing out. I like what he's doing in camp. I mean, of course, Christian Watson had a really good year. He stepped up in a big way. And I think the running back duo is just going to do what they do year in, year out. I mean, they put up consistent yards. They're a good duo, probably one of the better in the league. And Jordan Love, I think he's going to step in the spot pretty well.
Yeah, to end it off here with the NFC North and my predictions, of course, I'm going to start off the Lions. I just think that offense and defense is balanced so well. Offense a little bit better because those weapons are just so good on that offensive weapon side. And honestly, I really wanted to put the Packers in second. I just don't see a world where they actually get through the Vikings. I really don't like this Vikings defense. I just want to say that. Like, this Vikings defense does not excite me at all. And if it crumbles and they become third-place team, I would not be surprised at all because I think this Packers team is very underrated. Jordan Love in the preseason was very good at an 86.7 PFF grade, went 21 for 33 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. He has a very good receiving core, as Will just said, also adding on Jaden Reed through the draft. And the defense added on a lot of players. Still have Jair Alexander, still have Quay Walker coming off into his sophomore year. So rounding out things, now I have the Bears, who I really like. Justin Fields is going to run the ball all day adding DJ Moore on that offense is definitely going to help him. But that Bears defense, it's abysmal, and you really can't just put them higher than 4th place. Anything else left to say, guys, on these NFC division predictions?
No, I think we're all good.
That'll do it for us. That's the first Joe's Knows Football episode here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to have the AFC prediction episode coming up soon, and then the award predictions with our week 1 game predictions. So for Giacomo Imperiali, Brian Burke, Will Kukowski, me, Jack Kemler, thanks for watching.